let's have a cross check with Docker. So you see that there is no Docker image, no container, no application is running that here. So let's have a check in the command modes. So you see the we are checking the which Docker version we are installing in the instance systems. Just who is new in Docker installation, just Google it, and or you can look for my previous version screencast about the Docker and Docker Compose with the Flyway, the same application you can look for. You see the Docker version is the 20.10.7, and also the other Docker engine versions is there. The API version, the engine version 2.7, they're exactly the same. And you can also check the kubectl versions, the command line tool interface versions. So you see the kubectl, so we get the git versions, the versions major, one, minor. So you see the Docker is running. So we also check the Docker is also running, Docker desktop tools is running. So you see the status is a little bit green, is running status, and then so on and so forth. And let's have a run the Docker. Is the Docker image there? So there is no Docker image, there is no Docker process. I think so. There is no process, no Docker image, and then and I think there is no Kubernetes Minikube cluster because we didn't run yet the Minikube at the moment. So let's have a check the first the build our image, our Docker image, to check it here. So we are in the same directory, so we can write in Docker sorry, Docker build, and then minus tag. This is tag. Those are here new, just you can basic commands of Docker, so you can put it like simply same tag to build the image. So we put in the same versions, and then after that we are in the root directory dot, and it will build the Docker image out of our definition what we defined with the base image, the Java OpenJDK Java 8, and then so on the maintainer, and so on the image jar files, and put it into the container and endpoints jar application. So this is our image we created already, the definition of the Docker files. So we simply run the script, the commands, the Docker build. We see that the tag, the Docker image, the Docker image name, and the tag with that one, and we are root directory. So every files we are located, we are the root directory. That's the reason we just put it here. If you have the different path, then you can change the path of the file systems. So it's a Docker image. So we can create the Docker image. We see it's everything is running. The building the image out of the US standalone jar files. It's copying all the JDK information, the runtime, BM, and then it's copy that jar files also to the containers, and then transforming the contents. You see the content transforming this here, and then so on so forth. So it's transforming the 337 megabyte the files, and this is some levels for the arguments what we define into the Docker file. Now is copying the jar file into the containers, the Docker containers. So it's take a little bit time. It's not too much, but unfortunately it takes time. So it is done. So let's have a check. Is it in the GUI stuff? It is, the image is there. So you see the Docker image is there. So it has already successfully built the image. You send the tag numbers, the image ID, created size of the image, and then it says if it's Boolean, there's nothing more there. So we need a Boolean later. So it has possibility to quickly run the image from out of here, but for this case we don't need to. So it's inspect, pull, and push to the Docker Hub, and remove, and then run this, and so on and so forth. So we already successfully create the Docker image out of out of our release versions, out of our standalone jar files. So let's have a check in the command lines. It is the image is there properly, that's we expected. So you see the Docker is expected. So you can use the Docker desktop tools, or you can use the Docker CLI tools for in the PowerShells, and you can do what you like to do here. So all the information same, but some people like to Docker desktops to use it, some people in the command lines, but in the beginners, you can both side to learn it with the GUI part and also the console part or CLI part. You can learn it from there. So now we already have our application, our Docker image, our standalone jar file is there. So we build our image, a Docker image out of our standalone jar files, and now we need to be go with our configurations for our Kubernetes cluster configuration, the config maps and secret credentials, and deploy the Postgres instances and the service and our application that's we already containerized. The Docker container made our application to our out of our Spring Boot applications. So let's have a execute the all the script that we have it here. So this is our deploy creations, and this is sorry, there's too many window. So so here, so we can apply our very first, we can apply to the Docker uh, kubectl. We can say kubectl. Maybe we can see the any ports, any service in deployment is there. So get all kubectl get all. I think so. Oh, it is a little bit slower today. Sorry. So we didn't run it yet, the Minikube. So we need to be run the Minikube first. It still will take time because we need to install everything from very beginning level, because if you see the informations like that, so we have no Docker, the Minikube images, the Kubernetes images, and then no applications. So that's why it will a little bit take time to take the Minikube image, Minikube to install the Kubernetes cluster. After when the cluster is getting ready, then you get the information kubectl to get the information from the cluster information. When the Kubernetes cluster is get ready, then you can deploy, or you can install, you can configure your respective configuration file or credentials or deployment services. So then you have a start to the Minikube start. That means it will start the really clean and really one node Kubernetes cluster to build. So it's download all the images that need to be run or need to be installed the Kubernetes cluster, or need to be built the Kubernetes cluster. So let's have a Minikube to install the Kubernetes clusters. So you see that it's pulling the base image, and it's take little times. So let's go back. It's doing the pulling the image and installation. We can discuss the the other part of the projects. So project structure, maybe in the meantime we can discuss the project structure.